This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Welcome everyone once again. Today we'll be going through the other parts of reporting aspects. We started on the reportings and understood what is a what is the standard report and what are the different types of standard reports, and we saw all the stuff. And I think Tahira was asking the question, I believe, not sure, just it was about the custom reports. Will
Yes.
we be able to edit it or create something new? So yes, we will be able to do that. So there is something called as create custom report. This is the task which you use to create a custom report. You cannot create a standard report. It's for obvious reason. Standard reports are delivered, and which are delivered and maintained by Workday themselves. So the contrast of standard reports is custom. So go click create custom report. Put the name of your custom report. Say, what is the prefix that we have been using, guys?
WP.
WP. Okay, thank you. So WP and put the name of your custom report. But before,
What does WP stand for, by the way? We've been using it a lot, but what does it mean?
nothing as such. So just to make sure that it's more unique, right? So that's the only thing.
Normally we use our initials, right? So I was thinking, who's WP out of all of us?
No. I used to do with the WD, which is Workday, and then WD became a routine in which we already have some tasks which were created with the name of WD. So I went on changing with D to A, B, or P, X, Y, Z, something, so on and so forth. Yeah, that's the background of it. So okay, WP. So I've been taking multiple sessions. So just to make sure that I have two characters, and I started with the WD and so on and so forth. So each and every session will have a unique representation of the prefix. Yeah.
I got it. I understand now.
Yeah. Report type. As I told you the other day that there are 8 different report types that Workday offers. Okay. So by clicking on this, you can see advanced report, composite report, matrix report, nbox, search, simple, transposed, and trending. Right? So 8 of them. So people who wants to pursue more into reporting, right? Just a second. So those who wants to pursue their career in reporting, some reporting specialist like that, so they will be more getting into this all types of reports. But for integrations or for job sake, for 90 or 85% of the time, you will be going with advanced report in your integrations or any type of reporting need, basically, until unless you wanted some specifics to be some search related reports will be there, some nbox, which is again some numberings and the filtering will be there. So it's altogether a different stuff, but we will be covering up simple report, advanced report, and matrix report. These 3 will be covering up. And by default, if you are not selecting anything, understand that it is a simple report which will by default be there. And if you just hover the mouse and see, there is a help text which shows which report type is what, like this. It says, where is this? Why is hiding? Okay. So a simple report provides a straightforward user interface that allows a user to select. So all definitions of your reporting will be seen here. Okay. Now, out of the 3 reports, most important report is advanced report. So maybe if it is not a true number or percentage, I can say that 75% of the reports will be of advanced report in comparison with all the reports. you'll see 75% of the reports are advanced. So that much important and that much usability that advanced report goes on. So concentrate on this. And the first version of advanced is simple. So you will typically start with simple report, and if you want to convert your simple report into the next level is advanced. We can say level 0, level 1. So these are the only two reports which are related, right? You can convert from simple to advanced and not to advanced to simple. That's one thing. And rest of the reports are individual reports like search, nbox, matrix, composite, transposed, and trending, right? So these two are kind of level 0, level 1. We can go from simple to advanced, not from advanced to simple. Okay, let's get started with simple report. And if you make, or if you want to see this report as a temporary report, you can mark this as temporary. So what does this mean? So when you mark this as temporary, this report will be available in this tenant for only 7 days. Mostly, that's what it will be defined. Excuse me. Okay, so if you want to make it as temporary report, you can do it. And there is a way that you will be making some reports by default as temporary report, where you don't want every single user to be creating reports and making them like a number of reports in the tenant. So to maintain it, they'll generally create those reports or make those reports to be created as temporary only. This will be unchecked. I mean to say, this will be grayed out for you sometimes. Okay, in this case, it is allowing you to make it as a temporary or non-temporary. If you're not checking this, it means that you will be able to save it for a long time. It won't delete it from the tenant. Okay, next, other important detail is data source. In the other day's session, we understood that if you want to access the data, you need to access your data source, not your business object. Workday recommends you to go to pick a data source, not your business object, right? So there is something called as optimized for performance, which means there are indexed data sources and standard data sources. Two types of data sources we have: indexed and non-indexed, or standard, we can say. So indexed reports, so indexed data sources are more performance oriented. They have got better indexing, and whenever you're using those kind of data sources, it fetches you the results in a better way or easiest way. It takes very less time and performance is better, all those things. If you check this checkbox and search for your data source, it only searches for indexed reports, indexed data sources, not all of them. Once you uncheck this, then only you will find all the data sources. Let's say there are say 2000 data sources. Just for argument's sake, I'm just giving a number. It could be around that also. Data sources are 2000. If you just check this checkbox, it will show you only 1000 data sources which are indexed. If you are unchecking it, it shows all the 2000. So let's go here and put the data source all active and terminated. So this is one of the data source that we will be using. But before going here, maybe I'll select this and then give the name. Before going into the report editing, so I'll teach you what is business object, how do you see the data sources, what are the links between the data source. We'll see that. Let me save this as WP simple report, right? Click OK. Understand that we never chose any business object, but we chose a data source. I know which data source I want to use. I just selected, searched for it, and I got it. If you want it, how you will be identifying? Let's say click OK. All right, so we got something here. So I'll just try to save this one. We'll come back here to discuss more. Someone having a question, go ahead. Worker. Okay, I'm not able to access. I'm just for namesake, I'm just trying to add one field and save it. I'll park it aside and come back again, because before starting this, I wanted to start on making you understand what is business object, how do you see that, literally, what are the data sources and all. We'll discuss. Okay, I'm just trying to save this. Let's go and try to search for business object. I'm wondering if it is going to give us some ample time here. Business object, if you want to search for only business object, BO colon, let's say worker. Worker is one such business object which you will be typically using in your real time. So click on this. Worker business object stores all the worker information. It's one of the biggest business object within core HCM. So it may take some time. So allow it to return the values for you or show the fields for you. Don't be surprised if it shows you maybe 6,000 or 7,000 fields also. It's taking quite a good time. I don't know if the tenant is also slow, by the way. Okay, how many you see? 8,752 items. So this many number of fields we have in this particular business object. So as we know that worker business object contains different fields. Those fields could be of type numeric, text, or Boolean, single instance, multi-instance, self-referencing, date. So all different aspects of field types. I think we saw that in our slides. Let me go back to the slides and show you those field types. Let's go here. Where is this? Oh, I don't know where they kept the PPTs. This is a new, looks like to be a new for me laptop. That's okay. Different types of fields that you notice. I think I have discussed that. And you can notice whether this particular field is a calculated field or a custom field or a workday delivered field. So most of them you will see as calculated fields, but few of them, whatever you see, is workday delivered to. Workday delivered, workday delivered. There are some calculated fields which are delivered by workday as well. So understand that too. Okay, which category they belong to, what are they authorized for the security, all those things you can notice here. So this typically gives you the glimpse of what all fields are existing for any given business object. Right, scroll up, then you see related business objects. So before I go to related business objects, let me touch base on data sources. As we know and understood that business objects contain some data sources. Workday gives those data sources for you. Like 57 different data sources it is offering. In this, you can notice that the description says what information is present in this data source. We have just picked something like all active and terminated work. This is one common data source that we typically use, which includes both active and terminated employees. It says accesses the worker as its primary object and returns 1 row per worker. Only includes all active and terminated workers. So it gives you all the information related regarding what type of information is present in this data source, why you should choose this data source, why not others. So each and every data source has got the description, which gives you a clear picture as what information is being delivered as part of that data source. Retirees access the worker as its primary and worker. So yeah, does not contain any built-in forms. So if you want to use only retiree, so you can go for retiree. And on the right hand side, you can see what is the data source type, whether it is a standard or indexed. We already discussed there are two types of data sources. One is standard, other one is indexed. Indexed data source is more of your optimized for performance kind of a data sources, which are having more indexed, and it is more easy to fetch the data and access it to. Let's see if there is any indexed data source. Oh, I don't see any indexed data source in worker business object. And apart from what your data sources are, Workday also gives you more general data sources. So it says that, hey, you know what, there are different data sources that you may consider using it. Maybe if you are looking at this, look at this also. These are not related to the worker, by the way. Notice that primary business object is something different here. But here, all of them has got worker as the primary business object. Okay, so what category and what data source? Yeah, you can see the indexed data sources here, a couple of them. And as I told already, you cannot create business object, you cannot create a data source. Probably there is a little extension that you can do for any for some of the data sources. Maybe you can edit a data source and extend it, probably adding a field or something, but very rarely you use it, so not required. More specific data sources, as you are looking at worker data source, there are few other business objects which are more related to worker, like employee, contingent worker, employee, and so on. So it gives you which data sources you want to choose it. So it's up to you how you wanted to go for and which data sources you want to choose. And by clicking on one of the data source, what happens? It gives you what all fields that are part of those business object related data source. Let's say all active and terminated workers. If I open it in a new tab, so this data source will give me what all fields I can access from this data source. Typically, most of the data fields that you have in your worker business object can be accessible with this data source. Oh, it's taking time. because it also shows up quite a good number of fields, like 6,000 or 8,000 around. So it's taking same time as what it used to take for a business object worker. So let it show up as we need to see that as well. I don't know, all the tenants are slow today, possibly. All the training tenants or GMS tenants. Okay, let's see if we can close this. It's taking for a long time, so let's not bother about it. Going to reports. So which all reports are built, right? Standard reports, we know that. This 371 were delivered by Workday. And it gives you the information that which data source it is using. Obviously, these all data sources belonging to worker only. But it is giving you which data source it is used to create this report. That's standard. And custom reports. Notice how many 3,190 different custom reports were built only on worker. So that many number of custom reports were created in this tenant. What are the data sources used? You can see all of them. And reports displaying business object as secondary. Maybe we'll understand that what is primary, what is related maybe. So we understood what is fields, the list of fields that you hold in business object, data sources, and reports used. Now, finally, the third tab or the second tab, the related business objects. Pay some close attention here. As we already discussed in our sessions, that Workday automatically links all your business objects with the different business objects, related business objects. Here, there are two sections. One is links to and links from. So links to is outgoing. So consider our phone language. So outgoing, incoming. Links from. So from other party, you are receiving something. From this place, you are sending out to other party. Links to related business objects. So let us take a wise example so that we can correlate and understand. So it may be tough for us to understand how many business objects, but if we understand one link relation, it's same as others as well. Let me go to dependence. So dependent is one such business object which is related. Filter. So worker is linking with dependent business object with 194 links. So number of links, it's 194. When you click this, these are the number of fields that are linking to your dependent business object. So business object is worker. In business object worker, you have created a field called this and routing or linking to related business object. That way, 194 times you have touched dependent business object. So you are creating this particular field. We'll understand that when we are doing it in a calculated fields. We'll understand that. But okay. So we have 194 links from worker to dependent, right? Worker to dependent. Now, from dependent to worker, how many are there? This is the other way around. Let's say dependent. Filter. So from dependent business object, it is having 3 links to worker. When you click this, it says 3 links. This, 3 different links. Related business object is becoming worker. Primary business object is dependent. Related is worker. As we understood the concepts of primary and related business objects in our initial sessions, whenever you stand on one business object and look around, those other business objects are called as related, and this is called as primary. In our case, this is the way. Okay, fine. We need to go to that business object to understand more, right? So let's go to that business object. And hey, there also you should be seeing links to and links from, same way. They should be incoming and outgoing. It's a fairly small dependent business object. It should not take more time. Yeah, 316 fields. Okay, same fields are there, data sources are there. So we have only one data source whenever you want to use this. And what are the reports related to business object? Okay. So there are a couple of business reports, standard reports, and there are fewer custom reports as well. It's got a related business objects. This is where we are interested in learning. 42 items and 12 items. Let's go access our worker business object. So here and there, we'll check only worker business object to understand the concepts. Links from and links to. Worker, filter. Here we have worker. How many we have? Links to. We have 4 links. It says the other one is 3 links. What happens is the 4th link, whatever it is linking to, will be the self-referencing. The dependent in itself is linked to that business object. When you click this, it will show up a self-referencing dependent business object as well. See, related person for worker. This is the self-referencing business object from this particular business object. And the 3 are common. In the same way, you have 193 here, but 194 there. Notice that 1 extra here and also 1 extra here, correct? So here 1 less and there 1 less. So when you click this 193, you can see all the links in this business object. Worker, all these fields, dependent, and all stuff. When you go to the fields and notice some things here. Whichever related business object it is linking or showing up, it will show up like this, dependent. Related business objects. So any different dependent or any related business object could be linked to your existing field. So that's what it refers at, which is the related business object for that field in your business object. That's about how you will be linking or how you see the links between different business objects as such. Let's go here. Same way, when you go to the fields, you can see what are all the dependent business object links. Maybe you can just try to filter it out, but it takes some time. The same way here also, 3 links, right? So when you search for related business object called worker, it shows up all those related business objects. So when I click on worker, filter, so it says this is the one worker business object field that it is linking, right? So that referencing field is what we said, right? So this is the one. All right, that's about your business object and data source. There are 2 different reports that you can access to identify and see what are the list of business objects that you have, what are the list of data sources that you have. Is that business object report? Business objects by category. You can go with this. And if you want to select by category, it gives you all the list. But otherwise, if you click OK, it gives you the list of all business objects. So these are the list of business objects. How many? 5,186. Same likewise, you have another report called data source. So this is actions, right? When you see actions, it's more or less like a standard report of type report writer. Once you click here, it says, when you see the copy button in the standard report, it is a delivered report which Workday is offering to you to see all the business objects. Same likewise, data source report is also there, which lets you or gives you the information about what are the data sources that are present in the tenant. Data sources, click on this. $2,180. So I was just giving you an example, right? So around 2,000. So yeah, 2,180 different data sources are there. Okay, now we understood what is data source, how you can access the data source, how you understand what data source is viable or useful for your different reports. You go to business object and see what are the different data sources available and access whichever is useful for you. Let's go to our report. To access your report, you need to say RD colon, which is report definition. And okay, without putting RD, let's try to search for it. WP simple report. Hit enter. Notice that a couple of things will show up. What is that? One is report definition, other one is the report in itself. Right? There is a difference between this and this. We'll get into that. So, but we want the report definition where you can go and edit the definition. So assume that this is a fresh start. So let's go to the action and keep it in the edit mode. Custom report, edit. So here, this is the name, whatever you have just mentioned, right? WP simple report is the name, and report type you chosen as simple. Data source, this is what you have chosen, correct? And data source type is derived, whether it is standard or whether it is indexed. You're not selecting anything of that sort. And primary business object is also derived based on what data source you have chosen. So you're not choosing the worker business object, but you're choosing the data source, which in turn derives what is the business object for you, worker in this case. And it gives you the leverage to use other related data sources within worker. Once you get into this particular edit mode. So you can just click on this to access other data sources that are available within worker business object and choose it. All retirees, all workers. So that one leverage of one option is there for you if you want to choose different data source within the same business object. But if you think that no, I don't want this data source or business object, you need to go for a fresh start. You may need to inactivate or delete this report and then go for a fresh start. Okay. Now, here addition info gives you information about the data source. So what this contains, the description about the data source. You can access this related actions by clicking on this to see a quick text like what information this data source is processing and giving it. Okay, and you can put your comments saying that this is a simple report. So maybe whatever comments you want to put it, you can put it. Just I'm putting it so that we can know. Report tags. You can create report tags. These are like, tagging your reports. Like I want benefit reports. I want to add this report to as payroll report or just a normal report or my own report. I can tag them. I can create them. How many ever report tags you want to tag, you can do it. It's a multi-select like this. So say acquisition related or absence related. You can choose multiple as such. So that's tagging, which helps you in identifying where which report is linked to which tags as such. Okay, now we understood this header part. Now coming down, in simple report you get to see three different tabs: columns, sorting, and filters. Okay, here it allows you to add fields to your report. Now let's assume that I'm just trying to add few of them. So if you want to remove it, I'm just doing a fresh start, okay, like this. So first one, it shows up like this whenever you want to add a field, because the report is all about showing some data. What data, how you want to show in the form of fields. So let's say the first field I wanted is worker. So you can see that particular instance, whether it is a single instance or multi-instance, based on the field that you notice. Let's say what is the worker's hire date. You can search your fields just by typing in here like this, or I'll show you. If you know the field names, I don't know, but taking long time here. Even after typing the right thing also, it's taking a long time. Oh, come on. I think something went wrong. Let's add it. So here you see by category. So this by category will give you like different categories within this worker business object. There are quite a good number of categories that you can see. Worker business object itself is a very big business object. having many categories. See, like this: academic, account, work. So you can see the slide how big it is. So business unit, campaign, calendar, all different stuff. So if you click on all, it gives you the first 500 results. But sorry, if it is having more than 500, it says that more than 500, try to give some keyword search. It will say that way. That's when you see all. Error, 500 plus results, search to refine. So give some input so that it gives you the results. When you give the input also returns 500 plus, it also says error. Make sure that you have something which returns below 500. Yeah. Global fields, which are like in global nature, like current date, system date, all those different fields, numeric text constants, which Workday offers. We can use it. And any other stuff apart from this. Do not use field system dates and all. So we typically don't tend to use this. Let's say I'm just trying to fetch something like gender. I don't know, hire date did not came up, so but that's okay. Let's see if this shows up. Okay, so you can search and click this gender, say add, I'll say age, then I'll go with few other fields like marital status. So let's assume that this is the requirement. So these are the fields that are required to be showing up on your report. Total base pay annualized amount. So this gives you the salary basically. So I'm just trying to add some more fields like hire date. I don't know why it didn't like the hire date earlier. Yeah, just like this. So let's try to choose the calendar symbol. So wherever you see the calendar, that's the calendar date. These are derived. Someone has derived it. So we'll see what that is all about. People tend to use the same names. Workday allows, fortunately or unfortunately, the same names. You can create the same names within the business object. So calc fields, by the way. Let's go with the manager level 01, which gives me the manager of this employee. Come on. Okay, so let me add one more field. Management level, which gives whether the employee is a manager or individual contributor or vice president or so on and so forth. I think we saw that in our job profile creation. Whenever we saw that, it gave us the option, right? Whether this profile will be belonging to individual contributor or any other stuff. Again, it's okay, leave it. Fine, fair enough. We got certain number of fields at this stage. Let's live with this for now. Come on. Just a quick check. So were you also having the same kind of issue accessing the tenant, by the way? Or am I the only one who is facing this here?
Yeah, sometimes it looks like it's slow, Pradeep.
Okay.
I didn't check today at all, so I don't know about today, if it was slow.
On an average, how is it?
For me, it hasn't been super slow like it is now. I can't say that it has been like this. But then maybe we weren't retrieving such heavy duty things. I don't know.
Okay. I mean, if you notice some of the fields, I was able to pick it up very quickly, but some of them not showing. I'm accessing the same business object end of the day. Okay, so let's go again back to columns. Here in columns, you can see something called as column heading override. What does this mean? You can override the field heading. So it's in this case, I'll say manager. Then manager will show up instead of manager hyphen level 01. So that's the override. Format, wherever you see number or numeric values, like age is a number and total base pay annualized amount is a currency field, right? So that's the reason it shows up both the formatting. If you wanted to do some formatting on this field, you can apply it like this, clicking this. Then you can go to frequently used. You wanted to put some 3 decimals, you can go for it. And for age, I'm just skipping it. And here options will give you the valid option for each and every field. Each and every field has got different way. For example, in this case, I want to show the currency symbol for this particular item. So what is the currency that is involved? And show blank when 0. So instead of showing zeros, show it a blank, or some of the values you can use it, or minimum maximum. These are all aggregate functions. At this stage, let's try to use show currency symbol. Okay, let's say okay, simply I'll just say okay, let's not bother about sorting, let's not bother about filter. Click OK. When you click OK, it's automatically saved, right? When you click OK, it's saved, otherwise it's not saved. Okay, once you click OK or save, it shows up 3 different push buttons or options: run, test, or done. Test is something which gives you the test results, which is like first 10 employee results. Okay, when you click on test, it gives you test run. So it shows 11 items. And notice that there is something called as some data is there. And notice that age is 0, marital status is nothing, gender is there, nothing, and total base pay is zeros. Right? Looks like some dummy data, because whenever you don't have age, you don't have total base pay analyzed amount, salary, then it's more or less like a junk data or a dummy data filled in with this tenant. Okay, let us try to filter the data so that we get, or beforehand, let's try to run it full. We tried testing. Now we are running it for full. Go to custom report. You have run. When you click on run, it's going to run full data, not only for 10 or 11 employees. It gives you the total count, how many employees are there. So 4,260 is 4,621 items. So it looks like some employees do not have the name itself. And yeah, these are all kind of dummy data or crap data that they have. Someone has inserted. There should be some genuine information as well, but let's scroll down to see that. But typically we are not looking at 4,621 employees, but we wanted something more genuine information. So how do you get that information? So looks like this is more dummy data, 0, 0, zeros, no. See, but whereas this people are more, I don't say this is also genuine, because age is 0. Why will an employee data be 0 having an age? Okay, we'll try to avoid this data. Okay, this is more realistic in nature. See, this person is female, this age is 33, single, and some currency attached to that. So let's try to filter the data and come back with the results. What is we have 4621. So how do you test your results? Sorry, edit your report. Go to actions. This is custom report, right? Go to actions, custom report, edit. Custom report, edit. Now we want to filter the data. We'll use the option called filter tab. Go to filter, and here you can apply the filters on the fields. Let's say age. So you can directly go to fields on the report. Whichever fields you have selected in the columns, it shows up directly so that you don't need to search again. Age, I will say legal ages should be greater than 18 years, right? Greater than or equal to 18, I would say 18. If the person is greater than or equal to 18, then only give me the results. Another filter, I'll say fields on the report, salary should be greater than 0. So no one should have a salary of 0 value. Just one more condition I'm adding. Frequently used. This is the relational operator, greater than 0. So 0 is automatically present because this is a number field, so that's fine. Okay, now I go to sorting and I want to sort the data by name. First alphabet should be name. Fields on the report, I'll say worker. Automatically sorting direction will be taken alphabetically ascending. Let's click OK. Now we have set the filters, we set the sorting order. Let's try to see how the data is going to be resulting now. We earlier had 4,621 rows. Now let's say we know how to run. When you click run, it gives the full results. Click run. Now depending upon the condition that you set on the filter, obviously both the conditions should satisfy in order to get you the results. Now what do you see? Some genuine sampling of data, 549 items, which has truly some age greater than 17 years and has greater than 0 annualized amount salary. So this is more genuine in nature, and this is what we wanted basically. And not necessarily this kind of data, junk data will be in your real time, but we are trying to understand how you can apply filters. Maybe sometimes they'll come back and say that all the people who are hired greater than 2019, so you can filter, set the filter on hire date. So likewise you can set it, and notice the sorting as well. You have sorted the data alphabetically descending from worker. So first numbers, then A, B, C, D, like this. This is what a simple report can do for you. A simple filtering, a simple sorting, simple column selections. We'll understand in the next session how you will be able to achieve complex requirements, complex things in your advanced report. Right? Any questions before I close the session for today? That's the end of session today.
Pradeep, is there ever a situation where a company needs a report that cannot be made through this method of, choosing fields and choosing filters? Is there ever a situation where it requires programming to do a custom report?
There is no way that you will be doing a programming, because reporting is done through this create custom report only. There is no other means or source that you will be able to do a programming and then fetching it.
Yeah, not as functional consultant, but the technical part of the team, people whose job is to do programming, would they be ever brought into the picture and say that, okay, we have a requirement where you need to use programming to customize a particular report?
So typically there is no programming related to the report, so that's a different story. So but you can access reports in programming to determine what they wanted in the program. So that's a different story. So you're not mixing, you're not applying programming to the report, by the way. So you have 7 or 8 different types of reports, you get the end result. So whatever they want to do with the reporting result, they can do it through their integration or their coding.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So there is a way, maybe as you first asked the question, so is it possible, is it a scenario that, some things can't be achieved through report? Maybe some reports can't be achieved through simple. Few things needs to be done with different type of reports. You need to choose different types. That obligation is there, but not through programming obligation.
Okay.
All right. Well, hope all of you have a great weekend ahead, and we'll catch up in the next session. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate all your time and patience. Bye.
Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you.
Would we meet on Sunday or Monday?